On February 15th, the UBC Board of Governors are set to deliver a decision on divestment from fossil fuels. If you're a student, you are probably asking, didn't we already do this 2 years ago? And if you're a faculty, you're probably asking, wasn't this done last year? Sadly, the answer to both of you is no. Students voted on the matter 2 years ago and came through with a 75% yes vote, to which the Board of Governors promptly said, cool, we want to see more. Which led to a faculty referendum in which 63% said yes. A second request for divestment was promptly submitted early last year, and is now sat in the hands of the Board of Governors for over a year. Now, if you're new to UBC, or have somehow managed to avoid the subject in the past, let's bring you up to speed on divestment. UBC has an endowment fund, which is estimated to be roughly $1.4 billion. What does this money do? Well, to quote the UBC Treasury website, the primary goal of the endowment fund is to provide financial returns to support the university's academic mission and to further UBC's visions to create a learning environment that fosters positive global citizenship. This boils down to essentially 2 points. 1. Perpetuate UBC's vision by being morally and socially conscious, and 2. Financial returns. Of this $1.4 billion, about 10% is invested in fossil fuel companies in Canada and abroad. For those too lazy to do the math, that's about $140 million. Let's look at why this 10% is missing on both points 1 and 2. Chief among UBC's visions is sustainability. UBC boasts of its small carbon footprint and acknowledges its sustainable teachings and actions on their website under the UBC plan, on their social media accounts, and in all of their building investments. The university, to quote directly from the website, is prudent with the financial resources and mindful of its mandate to society. UBC supports those initiatives that will ensure the long-term resilience of the university and its ability to serve for generations to come. To summarize, the university's endowment fund exists to perpetuate the visions of UBC, which include responsible financial backing of sustainable initiatives, yet have $140 million invested in fossil fuel-based industry. The industry is driving rampant CO2 emissions, has a track record of lobbying against meaningful climate action, a history of human rights violations, and repeatedly abuses the rights and lands of indigenous communities. Without diving too far into environmental science, we should state that the investments from the endowment fund have a carbon footprint that is over 10 times that of the campus in its entirety, meaning the single action of divestment would reduce the actual carbon footprint more than the entire university becoming carbon neutral. If financial returns are at the forefront of UBC's concerns, then investment in oil is again counterintuitive. The oil companies, which are open to investment, are almost exclusively in North American companies. This means that they are the companies extracting shale and oil sands bitumen. Due to geological reasons, these oils are much more difficult to extract and thus much more expensive. Historically, these oil sites have been financially unfeasible to extract, but with surging prices due to instability in the Middle East, these sites have become a boon of investment and rampant growth. Now with oil prices sitting at just under $30 a barrel, just over a quarter of what they were in 2014, these projects are once again largely unfeasible. Oil prices, like any commodity, are regulated by the supply and demand. These have fluctuated heavily over the years with a booming market in China and multiple conflicts in the Middle East. Despite these fluctuations, what has kept these oil prices from being even more dramatic in their fluctuations are regulatory measures of the OPEC nations, and mainly Saudi Arabia. The OPEC countries apply cartel strategies to control the price and thus maximize profits. If prices become too high, alternative fuel sources become competitive. To avoid this, OPEC nations produce more oil, which effectively lowers the price. If the price gets too low, they reduce production, and the cost goes back up. Recently, this has not been the case. Despite plummeting prices, the OPEC nations have continued to bring substantial quantities of oil to market. Some speculate this is because they are exercising their competitive advantage over recently surging North American counterparts. Others believe that, due to recent international climate agreements to limit climate change to 2 and now 1.5 degrees, OPEC nations are making sure it is not their oil that is left in the ground. Regardless of the reasons behind their actions, they are bringing substantial amount of oil to market, which is leaving oil prices low and making Alberta's oil sands a diminishing and unfeasible market. It should be stated that these are just the principal theories surrounding oil prices and that there is a great deal of economic uncertainty in their trends. Regardless, any investment this volatile certainly puts UBC at risk. Which means the money UBC has invested in oil is not only not yielding the financial returns they seek, but are actually losing money. A recent report found that the University of Toronto has lost about $550 million from their investment in the fossil fuel industry. How much has UBC lost? So, dear Board of Governors, if your commitment with this money is truly to perpetuate UBC's visions while yielding financial returns and not some ulterior motive, divestment from fossil fuels is the only option. If this video has piqued your interest, Come to our divestment teach-in to learn more about divestment as a tool for climate activism, the process here at UBC, and what needs to be done moving forward. It takes place on February 9th from 5 to 7 in Westbrook 201. You can find the event and keep up with everything we're doing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at UBC C350. Come join us and be a part of the change the world needs.